How can you refinance a rental property and pull your money back out and snowball your investments? That's today's video. Let's dive into it. Hey there, I'm Clayton Morris, longtime real estate investor and founder of Morris Invest. You can learn more in the description below. I've rehabbed hundreds of properties and I've done a lot of refinancing over the years to pull money out of the properties that I've rehabbed and placed tenants in. And also houses that I've lived in permanently as my primary residence. I've pulled money out of those as well. So today we're going to talk specifically about how to get a rental property, add value to that rental property, and then pull money back out of it in order to get more cash flow by buying more rental properties. That's today's video. So first I want to say that this channel is totally devoted to helping you become a passive income real estate investor. If you're not already a subscriber, we're going to do a little subscribe break here with some music. Hit that little subscribe button down there and turn on the bell because that'll let you notified when we get new videos, which we publish 3 times a week. Go ahead, take a little subscribe break if you're not a subscriber. Thank you. All right, now back to the content. So today we're going to talk about this refinancing process, and there are 4 key areas that you need to know about. Now, number one, you may not be buying a property where you're going to get a huge amount of equity after you do the rehab. You may just get a little bit, right? But that's okay, because if you're able to get money pulled back out from the bank, that's money that you didn't have before. What do I mean by that? I'm just going to say for round numbers, let's just say you bought a house for $20,000. You did a little bit of repairs and it appraises at $30,000. Well, they're probably going to give you about 85 or 80% or 75% of that 30, right? As a check to you. Great. It's not a lot of money. It's certainly money though, and it's money you didn't have before you did this refinancing process. So even though you didn't add a ton of value or that property is not worth $200,000, think of that as free money that you can then use to pick up your next rental property. But we're going to be talking about numbers in the $40,000, $50,000 range. Those are the properties that I like to buy. All right, step 1 in this process on how to refinance is simply to find a local bank. I recommend going to local banks in your local towns where you have your rental properties and working with those local banks. They are going to give you the best refinancing options. Stay away from trying to go to those big national banks, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, those types of places, because no one's going to know your local market like your local bankers will. So they'll be able to assess the value of that property way better than a big national bank. So step 1, make sure you work with and find a great bank in your local area that you can work with in order to refinance that property. All right, step 2 in this process is to make sure that you've got the right loan that's right for you. So the bank is going to say to you, okay, here's what we can do for you, John. We are going to give you a loan on this property for 75% of the value of the property. So let's say for round numbers, you bought the house for $40,000, you added a little bit to it and it's worth about $50,000, and they're going to give you a loan on that for 75% of that $50,000. And that number is $37,500. Now remember, you bought the house for about $40,000, but it's worth $50,000 and the appraisal came in and they're at about $50,000, they're giving you $37,500. And the terms of that loan are going to be, 4 percentage points, 4% interest. Now think about that for a second. You bought it for about $40,000. The bank is willing to give you basically almost what you put into the property in the form of cash that you can then take and buy another rental property. Now you have that one available and done. And you could do the same thing and rinse and repeat using the cash flow from your tenants to pay back these loans. And you want to stagger them so you're snowballing that process. It's powerful, right? Well, imagine if you just had a little bit more equity and the house was worth $55,000. You pretty much almost be at a wash. The money you put in is the money you're almost going to get right back from the bank. See how this works? Step 3, we kind of jumped the gun a little bit, but wait for an appraisal. So the bank is going to do an appraisal on the property, and that's where they'll determine the value of that property. So like I said, $50,000. That's what the numbers we're working off of in the terms of the loan. So if it's worth $50,000, they're going to give you an interest rate of about 4%, and the value, 75% of the value of the property is the loan that they're going to give you for $37,500. So you're going to wait on this appraisal. Now, appraisers can be a tricky beast. I've got a whole video here on appraisals and how to work with appraisals that come in low, how to fight an appraisal that seems like it's ridiculous and way off base. So check those videos out because you may need them. We're in a weird situation right now with appraisal shortages across the country, and a lot of companies and banks are having to bring appraisers from other states into their state to do appraisals, which is crazy, right? Because you think that the appraisal would come in from an appraiser who lives in the area, knows the streets, knows the value, and a lot of times they're bringing in appraisers from out of state. It's not making for a great situation right now. But you need to know how to fight them. You need to know how to talk with the bank and say, I think your numbers here are way too low, and here's why. So I've got a couple of videos I want you to watch on that exact topic. So step 3, though, is to get that appraisal back and see how it matches up with what the bank is going to do for you. And step 4 is pretty simple. Step 4 is simply to close on the loan. Now you've got a loan on that rental property that you owned free and clear. Now the bank is going to give you a check for that amount. There you go. Now you've got that $37,500. What are you going to do with it? Well, I know exactly what I would do with it. I wouldn't go buy a boat. I'd buy another rental property, and I would rinse and repeat. So I would be able to refinance out of that one using the cash flow from my tenants to pay back those loans. Remember, every time you add another property to your portfolio, your personal net worth has increased. And especially if you're buying them like we do, which is below market value, adding value so that our net worth is increasing to $50,000, right? If we're buying it for $35,000 to $40,000, $42,000 and it's worth $50,000, $55,000, my net worth is here, not here. So I bought it smart, right? And I was able to add net worth here. That's the beauty of the refinancing and pulling that cash out, but it's also the beauty of rental real estate. I hope you found this video helpful. We have a whole series of videos on private money, turnkey real estate, you name it, right here on the channel. Click the subscribe button right over here if you haven't already subscribed to the channel. We publish videos multiple times a week, an effort to try to get you to take action. Get out there, become a real estate investor, and create cash flow and legacy wealth for you and your family. It's the best way to build wealth in this country. We'll see you next time, everyone.